Hey, Esther Marcella here, and welcome to Outrageous Originality, where I and a soul that I love and admire spend some time outside and ask them 3 questions about life and being true to self. As one of the first quarantine Outrageous Originalities with a guest, I am recording from my backyard where I'm also picking up sticks. And my guest today is Andrew Foster Davis, who is just a fun being who is very insightful. He's a minister and father, and a being who's been known to salsa dance. Andrew, would you mind just showing us a little about the nature that surrounds you right now?
I'm over here in St. Peter enjoying a little walk to Lake Hallett, Hallett Lake. Some people call it Hallett Pond, but apparently it is in fact a lake, and it has its own lake number, so it is officially Lake Hallett.
Now, for the first question, Andrew, could you talk a little bit about what it means to be a father, or kind of like what fatherhood has brought to your life?
Yeah, fatherhood. Great question. I walked over here with my son and my wife and the dog, and they've all gone different directions now while I answer your questions. But being a parent, being a father has been a great thing in my life, and the main thing that changed when I became a father was my sense of the degree to which I'm now responsible for another person, and in that way that the value of my own life is very different now. I have to be much more careful with myself in the world because I'm someone's home base. I am the source of security and of love and of warmth and of compassion and empathy for my boy, who is 11 years old. And I need to be sure that I can be here and take care of him so that he can mature and become his own authentic self, and so that he can go out into the world to explore.
So, back in another life, I used to teach English in Spain, and one time a student asked me, what is the difference between faith and trust? And I was like, So, that was a great teacher. Andrew, using your insight and knowledge of English, can you please tell me what you think the difference between faith and trust is?
Yeah, that's a great question. Faith and trust. I would add a third word into your question, which is the word belief. So to believe something is to hold on to it as a kind of fact. So, I have a belief that there is a tree behind me. Ordinarily, the fact that there's a tree here doesn't have much of an impact on my life. It's just a fact, right? But there are some beliefs which are more important to us. So to me, there is a distinction between faith and trust, although those two words are related. To me, trust is something that is earned over time, right? Like the trust that I hope my son has in me is something that I hope that I've earned over these past 11 years through consistent caring and loving and compassionate action on my part toward him based on our relationship. That trust is therefore earned. And that's a bit different than faith, because faith, at least when it comes to things like our faith in God or our faith in our values, faith involves at some level stepping off into the unknown. If I have faith in God, or if I have faith in my values, or if I have faith in the divine within all things, I can't necessarily prove the existence of God or the existence of the divine within all things. I have to walk into that. I have to step into that. That step into faith, that action forward, that movement forward in freedom, that movement forward with authenticity in who I am as an individual, or who each of us are as individuals. That movement forward, that step of faith, is an important part of what faith is. So faith requires belief. It requires some degree of trust, but really there's a movement forward into the unknown, into freedom, that makes it a special kind of relationship with the ultimate, or with people in our ordinary lives.
And then the third question, Andrew, what is something that you would want everyone to be aware of during this time?
Yeah, another fantastic question. You're on a roll here. So we live in uncertain times. The pandemic is sweeping our nation. It's sweeping the world. We just don't know what's going to happen next with the economy. We don't know what's going to happen next with our own personal health, our relationships, our work. There are all sorts of things we don't know. So what do we do about that? We have to move forward with our lives. We have to move forward personally. What we need then, we need that sense of security. We need that sense of value in the world. We need that sense of having a home base. So my goal, my challenge for myself, and my advice to you is to find that belief, to find that place, to find that practice that gives you that sense of home, that gives you that sense of security. And then from that sense of security, I challenge you to step forward into the world with freedom and authenticity, even given the uncertainty of the times around us, or in fact, especially given the uncertainty of the time around us, we need to step forward. And that requires both trust, and it requires belief, and it requires a kind of faith. So fatherhood has taught me that we all need security in order to have freedom, and we need faith in order to step forward. And we need all those things right now during this pandemic. If you look closely, you can see my dog looking at me through the woods. Hey, Peabody. Hey, doggy.